While President Trump and European leaders gathered in France to commemorate D-Day, Russia's President Vladimir Putin stayed home to host a splashy forum to encourage business investment and boost his struggling economy. The United States mostly is boycotting Putin's forum, largely because the Russians are detaining a pair of Americans. Let's go to our senior international correspondent, Fred Pleitgen. He's joining us live from Moscow right now. Fred, tell us more. Are these Americans simply pawns in a larger game between the U.S. and Russia?
Well, that's a big question, Wolf, and the Russians are continuing to say that there's nothing political behind these detentions. But of course, the U.S. sees that very differently. They're very angry about the fact that these two Americans are still being detained. It's weighing very heavily on the economic forum here in St. Petersburg. Here's what we're learning. Tonight, Vladimir Putin's favorite economic forum almost completely without American participation. After Russia placed American Michael Calvi, one of the biggest foreign investors, first in jail and then under house arrest. Calvi's detention, another factor escalating tensions between the U.S. and Moscow, even though the Kremlin spokesman claims the case is not political.
We are saying that we would prefer Michael Calvi to attend the St. Petersburg Economic Forum among other investors, and we would of course regret that he has problems with the law.
Well, first of all, Mr. President,
while President Trump continues to seek better relations with Vladimir Putin, the U.S. remains at odds with Russia on a wide range of topics, hitting Moscow with a flurry of sanctions, prompting a rare personal jab from Putin.
Despite the fact that President Trump has broken all records in imposing sanctions on Russia, nevertheless, with him in the office, trade between the United States and Russia has increased by $5 billion.
Americans detained in Moscow remain a major issue. Another American citizen, security expert Paul Whelan, has been in custody for months, charged with espionage. Whelan recently issuing a call for help.
I want to tell the world that I'm a victim of political kidnap and ransom. There's obviously no credibility to this situation. This is retaliation for sanctions. There is absolutely no legitimacy. I've been threatened. My personal safety has been threatened. There are abuses and harassment that I'm constantly subjected to.
While U.S. Embassy officials have been able to visit Paul Whelan, they say their access has been inadequate and vow to protest his treatment.
He has told us before that he feels that he is under psychological pressure to confess. And in this case, we're now hearing that he feels that he is under physical threat as well to confess. And I guarantee you we will protest this fact with the Russian government.
Paul Whelan's pretrial detention will go on for at least several more months. As for Michael Calvi, Moscow has indicated he might be released from house arrest, but only to attend the economic forum in St. Petersburg for a day. And Wolf, the Russians also trying to throw this right back at America. Moscow is saying that they believe that the Americans are trying to dissuade companies from taking part in the forum and investing here in Russia. The Russians, for their part, are saying, look, if the Americans don't want to invest, they'll find other partners. The one country they're really making a push for right now, Wolf, is the Chinese. Wolf?
Very interesting. Fred Pleitgen, important report. Thanks very much. Fred's in St. Petersburg, Russia. Coming up, there's breaking news. We have exclusive new details about the